There's only one Deontay Wilder.
Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Thaboxingvoice.com.
Yeah, I feel I'm the best in the sport, and to be the best, you got to be the best.
Thaboxingvoice.com.
Champion, one face, one name. His name's Deontay Wilder.
Thaboxingvoice.com.
This the fight that I've been wanting to keep down for the longest.
110%. There's no doubt in my mind that fight will happen. There's no doubt in my mind I'll beat Wilder as well.
I'm scaring heavyweights each and every time. Don't you see it? You know, I am the most feared. And if I'm not, then I want somebody to shut me up. I want somebody to prove that to me. I want to be proven wrong.
I want to be proven wrong. Prove it to me that we ain't the best boxing podcast out here. Prove it to me that we don't bring you that heat 3 and 4 times a day. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of TBV. Hashtag TBV, whatever hashtags are used. Hashtag TBV podcast. So we are back with some heavyweight division boxing news. ESPN late breaking just happened. Deontay Wilder has an interview with ESPN where he has some things to say, obviously, on the rematch with Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz. So this is what we're going to be discussing. If you're interested, you know the number to call in, 142-569-5241. Press 1 time. Voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. I'm going to go ahead and play the audio, and we'll get into it.
Straight away.
Due to the circumstance of how he...
Let me go back, because the question was, does he feel he should go into the Andy Ruiz rematch straight away?
If you were Joshua, would you take the rematch with Ruiz, and would you take it straight away?
Due to the circumstance of how he lost, no, I wouldn't do it. I'll follow my intuition, but he's the fighter. Only he knows what he's going to be capable of doing, just like the first time. I would just advise him to follow his heart, go with his intuition, how we feel.
Mike, so what do you think he means by follow his heart? Why is he questioning that AJ's heart is not telling him to go straight through the rematch, right? Why is he saying follow your heart, follow your intuition? Mr. Gross? Mr. Gross? Mr. Gross?
With the intro? Okay.
I ain't even... Yo, you know what? That's what happens when you work so hard. I thought we did all that.
Dazn Production.
I speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it.
Thaboxingvoice.com.
So when I stop him, y'all gonna say he was too weak. Oh my Mike, he stayed out my first several. A man stand up for what he believe in, and when you stand up for what you believe in, you accept whatever consequences come behind it.
Thaboxingvoice.com.
Yo, what up, people out there in the TBV universe? Yeah, Deontay Wilder had a nice little interview with ESPN UK, and he did say that AJ should follow his intuition, follow his heart, maybe take a tune-up in between the Andy Ruiz fight. But could Deontay have a hidden agenda? Would it benefit Deontay if they did take a tune-up in between? Could he fight Andy in that time, in that space? It may be a little hidden agenda right there, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't blame him. It's chess, not checkers, but we'll talk about it, we'll break it down, and we'll see. Because we heard him before. Said, I want the rematch right away. So if he's a champion and he wants to rematch, why should there be any different for AJ? But Ness, what's going on?
I mean, did you not hear the audio? The opening clip said it. He said the reporter said, if you were AJ, would you take the rematch? He said, I wouldn't, because of the way that AJ lost. So he's understanding, like, yeah, he wants a fight and a rematch with Luis Ortiz and Fury because he believed he won. He didn't get knocked out and he didn't get dropped 4 times. I think that he would have a
Maybe-
different opinion
maybe AJ
if
feels
that
like
was
he
to
got-
happen to him.
Maybe AJ feels like he got stopped on his feet. He wasn't knocked out completely. Maybe he feel
Yeah,
like
I mean that's kind of the title of the show, right? Wilder calls Joshua, he tells him he lost and he quit, right? So it's like he quit. I mean, and you'll hear that in a few.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we did. Maybe because I've already gave my stance about it. You know what I'm saying? If you want my stance about it, go back and watch old videos. But I will reiterate that I don't think Joshua quit. He did look upset when the referee waited off. He was trying to get more time by spinning his mouthpiece out. We've seen that time and time again by veteran tactics. You know what I'm saying? Get a little bit more time. They will go over to wash it out for you and put it back in. But this referee was stern. He wasn't allowing that kind of stuff. So, but my opinion is like this. I understand Deontay thinks Joshua lost in a devastating fashion. It lost, you know what I'm saying? It has maybe some mental hurdles that he needs to get over. But I feel like the best way, in my opinion, to get over those mental hurdles is like back in the day when your pops used to tell you, man, face your fears. You know what I'm saying? Go do what you got to do. Like, you can't always be scared of everything.
That
right?
ain't how it works in boxing, man. Abner Moss suffered a knockout loss to Johnny Gonzalez. He never rematched Johnny.
I understand that.
And he was with Al. They did what was best for him.
All boxers are
they
made
were
the
able to
same.
rebuild them to that level where him and Leo was a big fight.
All boxers aren't made the same, though. Some guys really want to see if it was just me wasn't prepared on the night. Can I go back in the lab and do different things? Because I need this rematch. I want to prove to the world.
And you can still do that, Mike. You can still do that by taking a tune-up, gaining your confidence like Wilder says.
Duck. As soon as we say, "Oh, Joshua is not going to fight Andy," he's
Bruh,
going to
you can't call him a duck. He got knocked out, man.
Call in and say, "Hi, I knew it. He's a fucking fraud. He's a fucking duck. He's scared of Andy. He this, he that." You know it. I know it.
I don't know nothing, man. I know that he gets a pass because he was knocked out. Anybody that gets knocked out is not expected to go right into the fight, man. Like, you could if you want to, but I wouldn't advise it. I've been the main one. Wilder listening to the show, I've been the main one campaigning for this.
Absolutely, you have.
This is exactly what you saw. Listen, AJ is so young, bro. You don't waste that guy right now. Yo, you could still bring him back beltless. You telling me a Dubois and AJ ain't huge domestically?
But Ness, I understand what you're saying, but what if in his heart of hearts, he think he can go in and actually beat Andy Ruiz?
My nigga, I wouldn't give a fuck.
Let me finish. You gonna tell him to suppress that and not go back for the rematch?
No, I'm gonna tell him this.
We don't believe in you, because pretty much being his advising him against it, saying, "Bro, we don't believe in you."
Listen to this, okay? Hearn dismissed rumors that Joshua would take an interim fight before moving forward with Ruiz. Joshua exercised an immediate rematch clause a few days following the loss. And I quote, "Do you think Joshua wants a warm-up?" "No," Hearn told the BBC 5 Live Boxing. "It's not even up for negotiation if he's taking the fight or not. That fight is happening. Someone just asked me, do you think he should be taking this fight? I said, probably not. I said, probably not. I said, probably not. In an ideal world, probably you'd like a 10-rounder. A 10-rounder. 10-rounders, ladies and gentlemen, for my casual listeners, are not championship-level fights. That's why they're specifically 10 rounds. If there's going to be an interim, a silver, a regular, you got to fight 12. If it's an eliminator, you got to fight 12. 10-rounder. If you're a favorite for a fight for the heavyweight titles, you're taking that fight. It's risky, dangerous, dramatic, but it's the biggest fight in world boxing. According to Hearn, the front runner for the venue still is Cardiff. Now, I just wanted to read that where he says it's not even up for negotiation if he's taking the fight or not. That fight is happening.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you think Hearn got that from Anthony Joshua because he's telling him that I don't want a rematch? It's not even up for. I mean, I don't want to tune up. It's not even up for a discussion. Don't even bring it to my table.
No, man. I mean, look, it's all good to play the assumption game, and that's a good, educated guess. But that's all that it is, an educated guess.
It's all it is.
According to this article and these quotes, this has the energy, and I'm interpreting it coming from the promoter, only making Deontay Wilder's words echo even louder, which I will go back to and finish playing the audio. Say what?
One final thing. We all know boxing is a business and promoters like to make money off their fighters. So in an ideal world, a promoter would not put their fighter back in a tough fight back to back. But if the fighter has enough cachet and has enough leverage, which AJ does, and he really wants to rematch, the promoter, like we've been saying, certain guys in the sport can swing the pendulum in their way. So Anthony Joshua, in my opinion, is doing that, and that's only a educated guess, like Ness said.
Well, you got 29 seconds for ESPN ad to stop so that we can go live with the audio because we took too long.
And furthermore, I think that is a Eddie Hearn opinion at the end of that article. That's him giving his promoter having his promoter hat on. But
exactly,
like I said, if Joshua wants to fight, there's nothing Eddie can do. I've heard Eddie say that I work for Joshua. Joshua is the boss. Joshua has final say so.
I don't know, man. These quotes ain't sound like that. It's not even up for negotiation. You know what I mean? Like
Joshua don't want it.
Well, that's you assuming though. But that's you assuming.
Don't even bring it to my table.
Yeah, but that's you assuming that. That's your interpretation.
I'm just going off the mind of a competitor, the mind of a guy who's never been a world champion but have been a competitor on a college level. So, in my opinion, when you make it to that level, guys have a competitive drive in them that maybe they want to prove the world wrong. Maybe they want to prove guys like
objection, Your Honor. Speculation on behalf of Michael Gross, speculating that Anthony Joshua has the heart of a competitor. We can't get in his mind. We can't get in his mind. No, we're not. We're not speculating. I read a quote which is considered facts, and I'm playing audio from another fighter which is considered facts.
But in the past, you've been speculating that he should take a interim fight, right or wrong?
I mean, I go show by show basis, man.
Hey, so you can't
score my shit so round by round.
Go with the audio.
Oh man.
Would you take the rematch with Ruiz, and would you take it straight away?
Due to the circumstance of how he lost, no, I wouldn't do it. I'll follow my intuition, but he's the fighter. Only he knows what he's going to be capable of doing, just like the first time. I would just advise him to follow his heart, go with his intuition, how we feel. Don't try to make others happy because they can't get in the ring. They're not going to fight, and they're definitely not putting their life on the line.
And that's what I'm saying. You see, there's this stigma that we're putting out there that if he doesn't fight Ruiz, he's a duck. But because of the knockout, because he's a franchise, because he's so young, he should be allowed to rebuild without criticism. If we allow, you're putting your head down, but you're not opening your mind. If we allow Amir Khan.
Listen to everything you're saying because I have a rebuttal, so I'm listening.
Cool. If we allow Amir Khan to come back and rebuild numerous times after knockout without getting immediate rematches and without rematching, period, in general, Amir Khan has successfully done 600,000 pay-per-view buys or 485 plus got another pay-per-view with Crawford without ever rematching any one of his losses. And that is another UK fighter. Kell Brook, same thing. Pay-per-view fights, loved by the crowd. You can rebuild. You don't need to, be crazy when you're this young. You make this much money per fight. Just be strategic.
Deontay Wilder said he should follow his intuition, follow his heart. What if his heart is telling him to take the rematch because I know I can beat this guy? Deontay Wilder is no.
What if?
Let me finish, man. Deontay Wilder is not doing anything different than what I'm doing. He's assuming his heart is telling him something else, but his heart could be telling him what I've been saying, and there has been no indication from the AJ camp that he wants to take an interim fight, that he wants to do anything different than take a rematch. He told Andy Ruiz in the ring before he get out, I will be seeing you soon. From that point on, we should not even be talking about him possibly not taking this fight. It's news, it's cool, it's fine, but at the end of the day, we should let it play out.
Hey, man, I can't help it if the WBC champ is giving you some advice and letting the cat out the bag. Those quotes indicate what Wilder's about to say.
But no one else. He is doing it. He's the product. He's the machine by everything. So whatever he feels he should do, I would advise him to do that, And
do you think you should have a warm-up?
I definitely do. He lost in a bad fashion, and
See what I'm saying? So, bad fashion, right? Would you compare Deontay Wilder's draw with Fury to Anthony Joshua's loss? And the reason I ask is because obviously there is a contingency of boxing fans that believe Wilder lost that fight. So they're both categorized as losses in the eyes of some. So is it on the same level?
Are you asking me? Is it on the same level?
I'm asking you.
I don't believe so. I think Wilder absolutely had a better performance than Joshua did on the night. Even though both guys scored a knockdown, I believe Wilder was more devastating. And Fury got the blessing of a referee who was not like some of the referees we've been seeing lately with a quick trigger, who allow a fighter to try to get back up and dust out the cobweb. So, yeah, I think Wilder absolutely had a better performance, but that's not saying that Joshua didn't have good spots in his fight. When he got hit with that temple shot, we all seen everything change. So maybe Joshua is just going off. I got this guy down once. I was successful by knocking him down, and I just couldn't capitalize on it. But I know what I did wrong, and I got to go back in there and make these things right.
That's the difference
between. Why would I let 4 belts go? Like, well, I'm a world champion. I've been a world champion. I done fought Vladimir Klitschko. I done been down before. I done seen adversity. Why would I let this slip away?
That's the casualness, man, dripping off of you, bro.
Only thing this gonna do is what? Build my legacy.
Bro,
build my
again, man, boxing
America. Boxing
repeats itself, Mike. Boxing repeats itself. This is no different than Tyson Fury's story. And this is what separates a good team from a great team. Tyson Fury, in the eyes of the public, for all intents and purposes, came out the winner of the Wilder fight. And instead, his team is directing him to have 2 tune-ups before facing Wilder. Okay?
But let the people know why Tyson Fury went to ESPN. He felt like he did not get a fair shake with Showtime, so he wanted to go to a ESPN company where he felt like he had the backing and the enough pull. So when they do a rematch, he will have enough cachet and maybe not get a draw with Wilder. That's why he went over to.
Listen, that's all good theoretically, Mike. But you have no substantial. I'm sorry, I didn't know I cut you off. Go ahead.
That's what Fury said verbatim, so it's not like I'm making that up or anything like that. Fury said that from his own mouth.
Okay, you done? So that's all good theoretically. Fury has no substantial evidence to back that. There's no way that he can assume or quantify what leverage a deal with ESPN is going to bring, let alone act as if now because he's with ESPN, he's going to get better treatment when we've already heard co-promotion, or rather, should I rephrase that and say co-broadcast, pay-per-view.
Has a history in boxing and knows the boxing business has no theoretical stance when it comes to that. Like he shouldn't have that mindset. If what you're saying, there's nothing to base that off on.
No, there's nothing to base that the HBO fighter will receive more house
Not
decision.
HBO,
I'm
not
sorry, I
HBO.
didn't know I cut you off. Go ahead.
Not an HBO fighter. ESPN.
Exactly, but that's your problem. You cut me off, so you don't let me finish my. I'm saying there's no facts to say that an HBO fighter will get more decisions than an ESPN fighter, than a Showtime fighter, than a Friday Night Fight fighter. There's no facts showing that. There's nothing out there that's going to tell us, Oscar fought on HBO and got all decisions, but when he fought on Showtime, he got losses, controversial. Like, no.
I'm not saying that at all. But we do know that promotional companies do have a little influence when it comes to these judges. If you don't agree with that, then it is what it is.
Well, I think that you're 1,000% right with that, because I don't know if you know, but the judges are part of the sanctioning bodies and commissions, right? Like when you see Steve Willis in the ring, he's wearing an IBF shirt or a WBC shirt, et cetera, et cetera. That's why Teddy Atlas went on a rant and said that until the promoters are not selecting the judges and giving them comp rooms at the MGM Grand, boxing will always be corrupt. Because if I'm flying you out from your shitty house in Indiana, and I'm not taking shots at you, but I'm saying these people, you see these refs. I see them. You see them on TV, but you see them day to day. That's all they do. Like they're retired from a fireman, let's say, or a lawyer, Mills Lane was a judge. Like they're retired. This is their hobby. And then Bob is like, yo, you want to go to Macau? No, I can't go to Macau. What you mean you can't go to Macau? I got you. First class ticket. You can hang with Pacquiao. I'll put you in the Venetian and get you a penthouse suite, and I'll comp you some dinners. Don't worry. Run up the room service. Run up the room service. We'll give you, I don't know, $80 room service per day per diem. This seems common practice. So I don't know. What are we talking about? He could put the narrative out there that now I'm with ESPN, I'm going to get a fair shake. Okay, tell that to Gennady Golovkin, who was an HBO darling, who was being pushed more than Canelo, who HBO bet on Gennady. They bet on Gennady. That's why they forcefully, illegally, it ain't illegally because it ain't no law being broke, but we all know, like AJ, Canelo wanted no Gennady in his fucking ring. And they set that up. Not once, but twice. That's why Canelo walked on the WBC, because they crossed them too. Oh, you want to mandate me to fight this nobody? So, history repeats itself, bro. We've seen all this stuff before, and Tyson is the most recent. He came back to this level. He brought himself back to 325,000 pay-per-views off of 2 tune-ups without no belts and a coke habit and 2 years off, ballooned in weight. If he can do that from where he came, how could AJ not rebuild without these belts? Let me tell you, and it is my God-honest opinion that I think he can rebuild without those belts on the same level because of who he is already. Like, him versus whoever in UK is still going to do 30-something thousand without a belt.
Just because you go down that road don't mean I have to go down the road. Meaning, whatever is good for Fury is good for Fury. It ain't got to be good for AJ. I don't have to do what so many other guys done before me. I want to do things my way. And maybe his way is taking the immediate rematch.
Well, obviously, I'm with the smart crowd, and the smart crowd keeps recommending for him not to take the immediate rematch, Again, we haven't got to the part of the audio where Wilder insinuates that Eddie is forcing him, but just from the reading of the quotes, there's no negotiation. This fight is absolutely happening. It doesn't sound like that's what's in the best interest, or that you have the best interest of your fighter at heart, or in mind. Bro, so many professionals, people that would be considered experts way before you and I have recommended already the tune-up. Not just Wilder. Foreman.
Those same experts. Those exact
former
same
fighters,
experts,
George Foreman.
Those exact same experts did not give Andy Ruiz a shot in that fight. So take your fucking expert opinion and do away with it. Everybody got a fucking opinion.
So because you made a wrong pick in a fight, you're not credible.
Wrong about AJ taking the immediate rematch. He might win. All I'm saying.
I mean, it's obvious he might win, Mike. This is like Russian roulette, red and black. There's only two. It's a 50-50 at the end of the day. But what's in his best interest? Did Ruiz get an immediate rematch? No, he didn't. Numerous people. Khan, no immediate rematch. Danny with Thurman, no immediate rematch. Thurman with Pacquiao, no immediate rematch. Pacquiao with Marquez, numerous fights, no immediate rematch. I mean, but whatever. Forget history. Back to the audio.
He should do. I would advise him to do that,
And do you think he should have a warm-up?
I definitely do. He lost in a bad fashion, and I definitely feel the way he lost, the way he quit, definitely need a warm-up. I think the warm.
Now you heard him there. He said the way he lost, the way he quit. Why do you think he's stuck on that? What do you think he's seen as a fighter, right? Because, I mean, you gave your take on this earlier. You feel like AJ didn't quit. You felt like AJ made a fuss about it.
Yeah, I still feel that way. But as a fighter, he probably seen him spit off his mouthpiece and probably showed that was a sign of him not wanting to go on. But in my opinion, that's a sign of a guy trying to get a little bit more time. I've seen it before. I've seen it with the Corrales Castillo fight. He spit out his mouthpiece about 6-7 times in that fight.
Warm up would be for the mental side of it. Is you still there? You gotta overcome your demons. Sometimes a warm up is a great thing because it builds confidence back.
See, and that's what I like. Are you still there? Overcome them demons. Yo, what's more devastating? A loss in the immediate rematch? Or taking a fight that the public knows you'll win? You're not going to answer me? What the fuck?
What's more devastating?
What's more devastating to your career? Taking a loss in the immediate rematch, or being your next fight called the cherry pick because you're fighting like a David Price?
So you said what's a lot more devastating, a loss in the immediate rematch or taking a fight that the public knows you're going to win?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Mike. I mean, 3 times I said that.
Then as we as a public know he was going to beat Andy Ruiz, isn't that kind of devastating right now to his career?
Exactly.
So hold on.
So if the underdog does it twice, doesn't that hit the nail in the coffin?
I'm not sure that the underdog can't do it twice, so I can't answer that. Maybe after December, when he loses, if he loses, I can give you a better answer.
I know you're saying you don't know if he can do it twice, but like you said, and we just established, it's only 50-50. So you can give me your guess of what would happen if he took the loss.
I thought we weren't speculating, big dog. Did you tell me earlier not to speculate?
I'll go to the tape, bro. I mean, it's all good.
Thank you.
And then you go back into it. But I think his handlers, they don't want to see no one else unify the division, and I strongly feel that. So they're trying to force him into doing something that he really not ready for.
So the way he phrased that there, is he just, I don't know, clout chasing, getting some shine in the moment? Because he's saying his handlers don't want anyone else to unify, so they forcing him into this fight. Is that the case? The fear of losing those belts? Again, I'm not as smart as Eddie, and I gotta feel like Eddie knows AJ doesn't need those belts to if David Price could rebuild without ever getting a title, how can AJ? But obviously that's what he's assuming, that without those belts, they won't want. Like they don't want to continue.
Also, you got to assume it's the biggest fight in world boxing. Why not make it?
Is it the biggest fight? Or I thought Wilder Ruiz was the biggest fight because there hasn't been a heavyweight undisputed champion in how many years?
This year, it's going to be the biggest fight in world boxing.
So if Wilder Ruiz happened and AJ didn't fight Ruiz, that wouldn't be the biggest fight in boxing? So wait a minute. You digging yourself in the hole.
Because
Wilder's the first American and champ, and I don't know how many. Go ahead. You go first.
Hypothetical question, and you're speculating. Wilder Ruiz would not happen this year. AJ Ruiz is more likely to happen this year. So therefore, this year is the biggest fight in world boxing. Yes.
So you're basing it on happening this year or not, right?
That's what I said.
Okay, and I'm saying, for argument's sake, you can absolutely
speculate, and you use a hypothetical for a.
All of this is hypothetical.
No. Joshua. Whoa. Joshua and Ruiz is like Eddie was.
Is like almost was what you was about to say. Those are the words you chose to use.
We got
is like almost.
We got 2 dates, and Cardiff is the front runner.
Okay,
it's happening there.
And he also said you can yell over me all you want. And he also said in the same interview that there's 5 different locations that put a bid in.
And Cardiff is the front runner.
Okay. So
it's happening there.
So he doesn't have an answer, right? He doesn't have an answer, right? People are speculating, right?
He's giving you the 2 days, December 14th.
Is it just you and I speculating? Is it just you and I?
He's giving you the dates.
Is it just you and I speculating?
We just said earlier today it's only been 60 days. So why are we rushing?
Is it just you and I, though?
For all indications, the fight is on. It's happening.
No, there's no... That's not what boxing has showed us. Boxing has totally showed us that a fight could be on and off.
Do you think this? Do you think?
I'm just saying, it has showed us that.
But it's going to be amazing to see what happens. I'm not saying he can't win. He still win. And it's not over for him. Just because you lose doesn't mean it's over. I don't know why people have that in their head, that they feel as a fighter lose, it's over for them. It's not over for them. This is just the beginning, because most of the time we want to see how a winner fail, how he loses.
I agree with him there. Most people, after you winning for so long, most people want to see you lose and then see you bounce back. And that's what I'm saying. The comeback story is the greatest story. And with the fan base of AJ, man, he don't need no belts, man. He could do that shit alone. But any thoughts on audios on that last bit of audio?
Nah, man, not really.
This is how we fall and get back up, baby. So we're going to be watching and see how he rises from this situation that he is.
Definitely. Well, that is all that we have in terms of audio. So we can head out to any callers. Remember to press 1 for those on Blog Talk. And you can add Nestor Gibbs on Skype to be part of the conversation.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Mr. PBC, baby.
Last time I checked, I was the man on these streets. They call me
twitching like a bitch. Yo, thank you. I tried to call in this morning. My Skype was twitching like a bitch. Hey, yo, Andy Ruiz shouldn't fight Anthony Joshua. I mean, he can, but it's going to be embarrassing for his career. And I respect all fighters. I think he should get a tune-up, even though he will be a real-ass nigga if he took that rematch and beat Andy Ruiz. But he will be no more thought of as a champ if he loses 2 times in a row to a man that wasn't truly supposed to beat him. And then once he beats him, we all know Deontay Wilder is going to set up that unification. Matter of fact, I think they're doing it right now because it's taking forever to set up the rematch and make it official. I think PBC is working on loopholes. They already denied the WBO, which is a mandatory of what's that dude who's coming out of the UK from that Challenger TV show? Yep. And he was supposed to be the WBO mandatory. So if they knock that out the way, they can get that unification with Deontay Wilder. PBC puts on all the big fights. I love PBC. Every time PBC has a fight, a big one, it's my motherfucking birthday. It's my motherfucking Christmas. And to Mike, I respect your path on the way you think Anthony Joshua should do it too. But we all know if Anthony Joshua loses in a fashion like he lost the first time, yo, it's a wrap. We don't know what that can do to his mental. Yo, his mental is on the line right now because he was already concussed. We don't know if he's still concussed and he might just go into that fight and just, lose all of his memory. Just be all the way done for on a fucking bed. You want to see that nigga on the bed, don't even know how to talk? I don't want to see that. I want to see Anthony Joshua do some type of tune-up and show me that he's still the man. Because I believed in him when he was coming up, and I wanted him to fight Deontay Wilder, and I still want to see that fight. And I don't want this to ruin him.
Man.
And that's my call.
I agree, man. I don't want this to sidetrack him where it's like he's done, because that's what happens to these guys. They get these fights, and, they can't win, and mentally they get blocked.
Yeah.
Mentally they get blocked, bro. So difficult. Let me go to, what do we got here? This is a new caller in LA. New caller in LA. You rocking out? That is a no. Wood in Baltimore. Talk to me. Baltimore. Is it Baltimore? Oh no, this is. Oh shit! I know exactly who this is. Damn. Is with a J, I believe. No, it's Aaron. What up, Aaron? Aaron?
Yo.
What up?
Yeah, what's up? You guys can hear me?
Loud and clear.
You guys it? Okay. Yeah, definitely don't want to see AJ take this fight right away. Basically they're putting all their chips into the pot. I mean, I agree with Mike, he can take it, and obviously it's a 50-50 fight, but if he loses, that's pretty much a wrap. And, look at Ali. He lost against Frazier. He took a couple years, got his confidence back, and came back and beat Frazier in the other 2 fights. But with Ruiz, too, he can't fight that fight in the UK. He has to fight that in the U.S. And I agree with that other caller. I think Heyman and PBC are working some loopholes because even if Ruiz doesn't take this fight with AJ and has to fight him in the UK, he's willing to sacrifice 1 or 2 belts. And if Wilder can get the other belts, then he's going to have the leverage. The only thing AJ has right now is the leverage because he has the belts. And that's what's giving him this A side. So I hope Joshua takes another fight and comes back and has that mega fight with Wilder down the road 1 or 2 years away. That's my call.
Mike, so let me ask you this. What happens if someone calls a mandatory?
What you mean?
There's no fight announced, right? Like, what if the WBO calls the Usyk fight or the IBF?
The WBO already said that fight will take place after the rematch takes place.
Yeah, but the rematch hasn't been announced.
Bro, it's only been in fucking 60 days, nigga.
Okay.
It's August.
All right.
September,
I'm just saying. But what happens if they call a mandatory?
Who?
IBF. They got Pulev number 1.
I think they're in the same position as we know that the IBF does good work with Eddie Hearn, so I think they are going to wait till after the rematch. Right now, you're giving me a hypothetical and you're speculating again. I thought we said we weren't doing that.
Nah, you know what? I like what the caller said, man. Seattle, Dominic, Mr. PBC. If you remember, WBA doesn't mandate their super champion, which is Andy Ruiz. IBF ain't no mandatory been called yet for Pulev. So dropping the WBO, I see them. WBC's Wilder. And his mandatory won't be called now with this drug test. But I think we got more callers. Yes, sir. Rod in North Carolina, talk to me.
What's going on? What's going on? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. I don't think that Joshua should go right into a rematch myself, but I still can make a case for what Mike's trying to say too. Because if he goes in and saves face and he wins the fight, he is right back in position where he was. And I think he may know in his heart what he did wrong and that he can beat Ruiz. So I'm with Mike. If he wants to go and take the fight, let him take the fight, because if he loses the fight, then he goes into the rebuilding plan that you were talking about.
But that's the thing. Wilder's insinuating that he's being forced to take this fight because for Hearn, it's too great a loss to lose the belts and have Wilder unify with Ruiz. That's Wilder's claim in the video.
Yeah, I understand what he's saying, but I don't think that's really 100%. I think Anthony wants that fight. I think he wants to fight that fight. And I think he may realize what he did wrong. He may realize that he was not prepared and ready to fight this guy. And I think he's thinking, hey, I can do better than what I did in New York City. I need to get back into my comfort zone, take this guy out. I'm back to the top where I was. Because, he can fight David Price and get knocked out too. You see what I'm saying? Who to say David Price don't catch him and knock him down? Because I think his chin is suspect anyway. So I say go on in there if you want to, fight Ruiz. If you lose, then we talk about the rebuilding plan. Because I don't think it's done with two losses. I don't think he's done.
We've already had like an argument on this. There's not many people that were able to rebuild off the back-to-back losses.
That's true, but in this division where it's not so many fighters, I think he can. In this division,
this is the division. This division is loaded right now. That's why we happy. The division.
Then David Price lose like back to back, and now he's like ranked number like 20 something, 19 in the world, some crazy shit like that.
And then
even that doesn't put him in a title shot in the next 3 years.
Absolutely not.
Huh?
I said absolutely not.
Who that?
Shit, he's still fighting.
Exactly, but yo, come on, Mike, come on, man. Like your arguments today are crazy. Like,
not really, bro.
Yeah,
like,
let me finish my sentence, please. Let me finish my sentence, please. Let me finish my sentence, please.
Let me defend myself real quick.
So you want me to let you finish while you cutting me off? Hell no. Fuck out of here, man.
Call me now.
What the fuck?
Call me now.
Fuck out of here. No, sir.
Call me now.
No, sir.
Cut it.
Niggas don't want to hear the truth, man. That's all I'm
Cut it.
You think you gonna cut me off and ask me to let you finish talking?
Nigga, you been cutting me off all the time.
Cut it.
That's all you got.
Hey, let's go. Let's go, nigga.
Wilder.
I will drown you the fuck out. Drowned out. You will be drowned out. Drowned out, nigga. You drown and you in the abyss.
Let's go.
What, Mike? What?
I'm ready.
What?
Let me drown.
What?
Go to your soundbite.
Mike. And I ain't talking to my co-host. What up?
Hello?
Yes, Mike, what up?
Yo, what up? I've been saying, Anthony Joshua, man, I don't think he should go right back into it, and then definitely he should not be fighting Deontay Wilder. The way Deontay Wilder hits, he's gonna hurt, AJ. And if you want to see him fight long in this, he's not going to be able to do that fight.
Yeah,
I think he could beat Ruiz. I think he has the tools to beat Ruiz, you know. And Ruiz did a good fight that night, you know. And I'm 35. I've been watching boxing, you know, for a long time, and he did good. But you know, AJ was just like out of the game. You know, if he used his tools correctly, his body, everything, all of his training, he needs to learn how to box better. You know, improve his style. You know, get his technique up to box guys like Deontay Wilder or even Ruiz again.
That's the question.
What's
Can
up?
he do that in the immediate rematch, or would he be well advised to take a tune-up?
Well, isn't he supposed to, after you get a concussion knocked out, you're supposed to take, what, 6 months off? Mandatory, you can't fight, right?
Well, that's why they're
If you get
rumoring the
knocked
fight for
out?
November and December.
Oh, they're going that far out? Okay, I just kind of jumped in. I saw you guys online. I don't think it's like almost like, you know, for his self-esteem, he needs to get a W under his belt before, you know, so he has the confidence. Because if he goes in there with the same confidence he had last time, looking like, you know, he was bored even just to be at the fight, like it was like a bother to him. You know what I mean? He can't be going into fights like that. He's got to look like, you know, trying to get food on my table, like Ruiz was. It's not about the, you know, the whole, that saying, the dog in the fight, you know, how big the guy is. It's about, you know, how much he wants it, you know, and he didn't want it, but he has the tools to do it. But I think the way Deontay Wilder hits, and he hits people in that upper top right region of their head, you know, right above the ear, because he swings in high, like almost like a Chuck Liddell, like a wild thrown from the fence, hitting people type of shit or stuff, you know. And when you hit guys like that, it knocks you out real good. You know, it's almost like the jaw, but worse. You know, right on the tip of the jaw. You know, it messes people up. And
Mike, man,
you know, I
thank
don't
you
think
for
I just wanted to say
calling
that.
in. I want to jump out to what looks like this is not Suleiman the Scholar. This is actually a New York number. Manhattan, talk to me.
Hello?
Yes, who's this?
Hey, this is Healer, the mind-body coach, with the Focus Ball Boxing and MMA channel. I just wanted to say, if the WBO calls a mandatory, then 100% the fans should not recognize the WBO because, first and foremost, can you tell me an undisputed lineal champion that needed the WBO title? So if Lennox Lewis and all the champions before them ain't need no fucking WBO title to be validated as the undisputed lineal champion, why the fuck do we need one now? Especially when the WBO is clearly, if they call a mandatory, they're clearly trying to get it off of Ruiz so that they can get Fury into the picture. Because we all know the WBO is top ranks belt. You get me? So when in history have we ever needed that, and why do we need it now?
Well, because we started to recognize it, and once we started to recognize it, you know, we want our champion to have them all. But man, I love the way. No, but listen. I just want to say, I love. You said your name is the Healer.
Healer, the mind-body coach. I'm with the Focus Ball Boxing and MMA channel.
Healer. So yeah, man. I like the way you broke it down.
90 seconds.
Makes sense. But we gotta wait for them to actually call it to really get upset at him, right?
Yeah, basically. I thought you guys were saying that they did or some shit, or
no.
Like
we're actually discussing.
You know?
We're actually discussing a brand new interview done by Wilder on ESPN, where he says that if he were Joshua, he would take a tune-up because of the fashion in which Joshua lost
60 seconds
and quit.
Yeah,
and he feels like Eddie Hearn is forcing Joshua to do the rematch in fear that that Ruiz and Wilder might unify, because that's not what Eddie wants.
Yeah, no, that's fact. That's definitely what's going on. I mean, if I was little pup Anthony Joshua, I'd go lose some fucking weight. I'd lose 20 pounds of muscle just by doing cardio conditioning. Get your cardio up, knock off 20 pounds of muscle, you'll be a different human being. No more athletic muscle training. You want to look for boxing training. Throw more punches. When you see Ruiz hit those mitts, as a person who's held mitts for a long time, the moment I saw Ruiz hit the mitt, I'm like, this guy is a better puncher. He's thrown more punches in his lifetime.
10 seconds.
So therefore, Joshua will never beat him to the punch and will never hit as crisp as he does. So Joshua needs to take some time, at least 6 months not getting hit in the head. And then, maybe even a year. Don't get hit in the head, get a tune-up, and bring your weight down. Get your cardio up. You get me? Learn how to fight off the back foot better. Then come back to that work.
So why do you think the rematch is happening?
I think it's happening because it's clear. Eddie thinks that if Ruiz gets away, he's going to fight Wilder. And if Wilder gets that belt, then the show's over. Joshua's never coming back. Because he's not going to be able to
do
get
you
that
believe that, though? You believe that the show is over? Joshua can't rebuild without belts, but David Price can and Khan can?
Listen, he can. But it's the way Eddie brought him about and the way AJ fans came over here. You get me? He can come back if he gets away from Eddie and he starts just being comes up the right way. You get me? Not disrespecting or spitting on anybody, especially spitting on someone who's done more than you, trying to destroy another man's name. He spent the last 2 years trying to destroy Wilder's name while coming up off of his name. You get me? So he would have to come back, win a couple fights, and, just not be... It's not really that people don't like AJ. I think it's people don't like Matchroom. Or at least in my opinion, I don't fuck with Matchroom, just based on all that shady shit. So this whole Dillian popping for shit and you supposedly being on TRT, man, there's no way we can't see that you're a hype job, It's like you're a hype job that was created. You got the juice and everything. So he's got to come back and win a couple fights on his own and just not look like a fuckboy the way Eddie Hearn makes you look like a fuckboy. Get away from him. Be your own promoter. People will respect you more.
Well, Healer, man, thanks for calling in. I don't know if everybody would agree with you. I mean, Eddie definitely has brought him to where he's at now. And, many might assume or believe that Joshua is in a very good position. But we're going to go to what looks like the ATL. New caller, possibly, 799-470-799. Who's this?
What's good, Ness? I've called in before. I got a new number. This is Chris out the ATL.
Oh, Chris, what up?
What's good? When we talk about immediate rematches in boxing, Hopkins and Jermaine Taylor, as well as Shane Mosley and Vernon Forrest, even though those guys lost, they still had long careers after they lost the immediate rematches. And then, you got Lennox Lewis and Rockma, where Lewis came back and knocked him out. So I think if Joshua, he's got to have it in his mind, am I a world champion right now or not? And if he honestly, truthfully feels like he can go in there and beat Ruiz in a rematch, he should go in there and take the rematch. Because the way boxing is, I mean, you know how it is right now with the politics. He might not get another shot at the title for another 3 years.
I don't believe that because of who he is. I don't believe that.
Right.
The other thing I want to say is, who's a bigger draw than him? Like Joshua versus anybody's a big fight.
Right. The other thing you got to take into consideration, in the heavyweight division, there's no real such thing as a tune-up, unless you fight a complete bum, a complete scrub, because any guy in the top 20 can knock your lights out if you make a mistake. So, all this talk about, fight tune-ups and fight these other, he might not be motivated to fight those guys. So that's the risk I think he's taking if he takes that. I think he should go in there and fight Ruiz.
It ain't about motivation. It's about guidance, man. His team needs to be guiding him properly because he could still get another 10 years, bro. He could still get another 10 years out this career easy.
Do you think a guy who's made the kind of money he's made really wants to? I don't think you could see it in his. I don't think the guy has the motivation to do the sport. I think he wants to fight Wilder and Fury.
That's
and
fine.
I think he's going to get out.
That's fine. But everybody fought tune-ups. Shane Mosley, you brought him up. He fought tune-ups. Everybody fights tune-ups.
Yeah, but right. No. What I'm saying is in the heavyweight division, I don't think you should go into fights thinking, oh, this is a tune-up. You can get your lights knocked out. These are dudes, over 200 and some pounds who know how to punch. So he's got to be serious. If he wants to be champ, get in there and fight Ruiz. And if you win, you win. If you lose, then you can do the whole rebuilding thing.
Yo, let me ask you a question. When was the Shane Mosley Balco incident? Before or after De La Hoya?
I think it was after. It was. I think it came out of the De La Hoya situation. I think he was tested after the fight, and then they found out later that he was part of Balco. I think that's what happened.
And how do you value that Fernando Vargas win for Mosley?
Vargas had fallen off, but it was still. Hey, I mean, it was still his career. You know, he beat. He beat Vargas. That was a good win. You know, he beat Mayorga. That was another win. So, you know, I don't think it's the end of the
right?
world.
So that's my point, right? Like keeping all that into perspective, Mike, right? Like Mayorga, Forrest, they don't hold the candle to AJ, right? So that's my issue, right? Like he brushed it off. Oh, Mosley lost, but that's the thing. Was Mosley ever the same after the Vernon Forrest losses? Back-to-back losses. Then he had a no contest with Rafael Marquez, which there's no information on, But that's why I asked about the Balco incident. Then he goes in, he fights Oscar, but that's when he tests positive, But you got to give him credit. He fought Rinky right, but he lost. And that's what I'm saying. Did he ever get back there? Margarito, I swear, is I fell in love with Shane all over again. All over again for that Margarito fight. And then, he shit the bed with Floyd, Shit the bed with Pacquiao, showing us blisters because he got busted shoes. Got beat up by Canelo. Like, is that what we want for AJ? To get back-to-back losses and then be losing to just anybody, And you spoke of no tune-ups on that level. Shane's first ballot Hall of Famer. He had a tune-up with Pablo Cesar Cano. He had a tune-up with Patrick Lopez. He had mad tune-ups, bruh. Like I said, who the fuck is Jose Luis Cruz? Like, you know what I'm saying? He had tune-ups. Everybody get tune-ups. I click on Cotto. He had tune-ups. Pacquiao had tune-ups. Like, bruh, you got to be careful, man. You got to. If you want longevity, but whatever, people don't want longevity, it's all good, man. Y'all trying to milk these boys. Y'all want y'all loving out there. Let me see here. New caller in Kentucky. 502, talk to me. Who's this?
This is Spat Pafford. I just wanted to come in and say it was a caller about maybe a time before, and I kind of agree with him, but I also kind of agree with the point that you made afterwards. I think that Anthony Joshua, personally, I think that he isn't that good of a boxer. I think that people keep talking about tune-up fights and this, that, and the third. And I think that really what they trying to say is that he needs to get better. Like, his head movement isn't there. And I think that the questions we have for Anthony Joshua right now is the same questions we have for, like, Keith Thurman. Because, like, both of them, in my opinion, aren't skilled boxers, aren't, like, the most skilled boxers in the division. And they have flaws that can easily be taken advantage of. Like, with Andy Ruiz, in my opinion, Andy Ruiz is probably, like, the second best puncher in the division. At just looking at him, like the way he throws once you get in and you hit him, the way he starts throwing those hooks, like, somebody's gonna go down. Like, either he's going down or you going down. And I think that the best fight right now is Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz, and Anthony Joshua. Like, I think Wilder will take Joshua eventually because, like, Joshua's not really a threat. Like, I don't think that he's not taking him because he's scared of him or anything. I think that, dude's just not a threat. Like what he said, like, nobody wants to see the fight anymore, bro. Like, you look bad. Like, go get better. Bottom line. Same thing with Keith Thurman. Like, Keith Thurman got to do something. He got to get better. Like,
yep.
just, like, in the way that Joshua came up.
So, you say your name is Spat?
Spat Pafford.
Spat Pafford. All right, so
yep.
I hate to cut you off, but I got to. And we like people to stick on topic, which you have so far. Even though you kind of went off with the Thurman. Let me see. We got Lids Low on the ringer. Talk to me.
Hey, what's happening? What's happening? Shout out to Baldy, man, because he got me a ringer. I ain't babying this nigga AJ, man. Put that nigga in the ring, man. You know what I'm gonna say. Put his ass in the ring. And he gonna lose again. And it's gonna be okay again. Can he rebuild? Yeah, he can. But on some real shit, don't take his ass to Miami. Number one. Number one. Don't take your motherfucking ass to Miami. I'm telling you now. I hope he listening too. And matter of fact, he can train over there and then come over here when it's time to fight. Whatever. But yeah, you know what? He can beat Andy because he did knock Andy down, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
he can beat Andy. It's not that he can't beat him. It's just that
Man,
honestly,
Andy took his
Andy.
soul, man. When he walked through hit that right hand, it's over, bro. Andy was like,
Yeah,
Anthony was like, what the fuck? You ate my straight, right?
right. And Andy just got his number though, dog. He do straight up.
Yo, the
And
sad part is you called every show telling us to pick him, man.
and that was Charlie. That's why I tell people do your research.
It's
Don't
hard,
don't don't
man.
be a
It was
fucking
hard,
fan. Bit don't
but it
you
was
don't
hard
have
to
to be a
believe that.
casual.
It was
I
hard to
know,
believe that, though, man. Damn, we could have
but do
been
if you
rich, man.
but then pay attention to AJ history. Short fighters that get on the inside, he have trouble with. That's why he like guys. I know you say stay on the topic, but like guys, I hate when he fight inside. Nigga, stay you long, boy. You can tag motherfuckers. What you doing? But anyway, back to AJ. Same thing. You understand? But Andy gonna get him again. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Andy, but Deontay Wilder gonna get Andy. You feel? I'm gonna keep it 100. It is what it is.
All right, Lislo, thanks for calling in. We going out to GMO. Talk to me.
What's good, fellas? How y'all doing today?
All good, all good.
All right, man. Just real quick, I think Joshua really needs to take a little bit of time off, kind of focus on him. Really look back at this fight and analyze it, see what he did wrong, see what he did right. Um, you know, that punch that he landed on Reese that dropped him, that really, I think as a fighter, that really kind of gets to your head because that was a really, really clean punch that he dropped Reese with. I mean, that would have put most of the people out in that division out, And Reese got up. Yeah, he was a little shaken up, but after the end of that round, it looked like Andy was full back in there. So I feel like power wise and skill wise, like you punch somebody that hard, it's always gonna stay in your head. Like, can I knock this fool down again? Can I drop him again? Can I knock him out? So I think mentally Anthony Joshua really needs to kind of slow down. He wasn't in a hurry to fight Wilder back in the day, so what's the hurry now? Get your stride back on, correct what you did wrong in that fight, and then come back and try to do it stronger than ever back here in the States. Go back to UK, get your momentum going, and then come back. There's no rush. I feel like if he rushes it, the same thing's gonna happen. Andy Ruiz is gonna come in there mentally. He's not gonna be in the fight.
Cut it.
GMO, thanks for the call. You already know. Appreciate it. That is your time. We're going out to Pound for Pound on V.
What's good, Water? What's good? What's good? Hey, man, he need to start. AJ need to start listening to Wilder, man. And I think it's all karma, man. The boxing world. I mean, the boxing guys realized Eddie Hearn was not good with the keys when he had the kingdom. He wasn't respectful. He wasn't giving the fans what they want. He was playing with our emotions. And to be honest with you, I'd rather the Al Heyman heavyweights have the power. Because Al Heyman been giving us good heavyweight fights. The past 2 years, it's been Al Heyman's side that's been giving us the good fights. I mean, UK people can't disagree with that. The Al Heyman
I
heavyweights.
disagree. Povetkin AJ was a good fight because I always wanted Povetkin Wilder. I think
comparable.
I think they both
Comparable.
been doing like again AJ Joseph Parker. That was a big fight. I wanted AJ Wilder. AJ Vlad. That was a big fight. Like everything. That's what I'm saying. AJ can rebuild
But look,
I'm
I'm talking about when they had the keys of the kingdom, how respectful it was to the rest of the boxing world. When you got dudes signing rematches saying, I'm gonna make more money than you in a rematch. Like that's That's so disrespectful to the level of point where it's like not even fair. Like Deontay Wilder getting schooled by the Gypsy King, and he's still trying to give him a good fight or good offense stuff like that. That's what I mean. When they got the keys to the kingdom, they ain't not respectful. So I rather Al Heyman people have the keys to the kingdom. At least they're gonna be respectful to the sport. That's all I'm saying.
I hear you. Well, thanks for calling in. We're going out to Brandon in Cincinnati. Talk to me. Actually, Brandon in North Carolina. Talk to me.
Hey man, hey, your last RV just got messed up my whole call. I was going to talk about something else, but when you say you had the key to the kingdom, so I was telling people to fight somebody else, and I'll
You got to
fight
get
you
off
is
speaker, champ.
that's
We
respectful.
can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Sorry about that, Ness. Hope you're doing good, man. But RV just messed up my whole call, man. He said when you had to keep the kingdom, man. AJ fought heavyweight boxing back. Ness, you know that. Everybody knows that. They did real good at the top. But look, I called here the week after they fought when AJ was in New York. I met up with him at the park, and I didn't get to talk to him so much. But guys, AJ had a bet with Big Baby for $10,000 to stand toe to toe. That was his whole camp in Miami, was to stand toe to toe. They did not work on no footwork or anything to be able to fight Andy Ruiz. They thought they was going to get in there and fight Butterbean, and they did not do any research on Andy Ruiz. Now, that's their fault. But if anybody who sits here and thinks that AJ can't beat Ruiz, they're gonna be real in a real big shock when Ruiz goes to fight again somebody else. Who is he? Can Ruiz beat Povetkin? What do you think, Nick? Can you think Ruiz will give Povetkin problems next?
I mean, with that hand speed, you never know. I'll be honest, I never thought Ruiz was on this level. Not even his last fight with Derevchenko showed me that.
Bob Arum didn't think.
Yeah, I mean, but look, we all wrong, right? He beat the shit out of AJ. It would have been different had he robbed AJ. He beat the brakes off that boy.
He fought an AJ that was coming in there with only one thing in mind, and it's a fight. You saw the fight.
That ain't our fault, man. AJ need to be ready for everything, just like every fighter need to be ready for everything. Ruin the 504, talk to me.
Hey there, what's going on, man?
What up?
I think that I agree with the title. I mean, AJ didn't come out the corner that fight. He did quit. But I think for that reason, that's the reason why he needs to take this rematch right now. I mean, I'm sure everyone in AJ's camp thinks that fight was a fluke because it's an improbable, outcome. No one thought Ruiz was going to win that fight. So I think in his mind, he needs to do it now. I think I agree with that. I mean, just try to right the wrong and get it out the way now. I mean, why wait? I mean, I don't think him taking a tune-up is going to make him any better than he is right now. So you might as well just take a shot now. That's my call.
Well, all right. R&V Boomerang.
Nope.
All right. So, final thoughts, Mike?
I mean, pretty much reiterate what I've been saying. I think AJ probably will take the rematch. I think all indications are that we will get a rematch, and this talk of a rebuilding process may come after if AJ loses. But right now, it's premature. Follow me on IG at Gross1911 or on Twitter at Gross2312.
Yes, sir. Nest GTO, Instagram, and Twitter. I mean, the same thing like Mike said, man. Reiterating, I say through the tune-up, shake up the boxing world, let Wilder and Ruiz get it in. I'm sure you could even write that in the contract, bro. If you're like Eddie, you know, you write that in. Like, Ruiz wins or loses, they just gets the next shot, you know, or whatever. I don't know. Would be good to report on it. I tell you that. It'd be a lot of callers calling in, like, "What the fuck? He didn't take it. I told you." Be so much, man. And that's the fun part of it all, right? Hit the thumbs up button in future, present, past. It helps with the visibility of the show. Lets me and Mike know, obviously, that you enjoy us coming around and doing all these spontaneous show. Mike, what's this, number 2 today? Number 3?
Something like that.
Oh, man, Mike's mad, guys. He's down. Come on, Mike. You gonna catch feelings? Yo,
What I'm mad about, man?
there's no business like show business, cause show business is entertainment, Mike. Don't be crying, man. Ain't no crying in baseball, boxing. Yo, I am your host, Ness the Gibbs. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at NessGTO. Peace.